Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Mavs Party. It is a shade before 10 p.m. for those listening later on the podcast feed. This is Kirk Henderson. I'm editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. You are joining our regular Spotify Live. Thank you so much for choosing to spend part of your time with me. Well, the Mavericks rewarded our loyalty, our patience, and really came through today with a outstanding win, 115-90. A thorough of a dismantling of a team as I have seen this Dallas Mavericks squad put together all year. And what do you know? It came just one game after Coach Jason Kidd got on them about their defense. The defense looked pretty dang good, pretty good. Part of that could be in theory attributed to Christian Wood not being in the lineup, but I don't really think that's fair. For those who didn't know, he has a fractured thumb and maybe out for some time. The Mavericks just really pummeled the Heat. Great defensive game plan. Dwight Powell did a fantastic job on Bam Adebayo. And really the team did as a whole. They pissed off Jimmy Butler, which is a whole lot of fun. So we'll see what's going on. There's a lot of stuff that I think we could talk about this game. Some of you guys are chatting in the chat about some of the changes that are coming to SB Nation, and I am willing to address what I can if you want to bring that up. Otherwise, I'll wait until like kind of the closing minutes of the podcast, and I will discuss that. So if you want to come up on stage, please invite yourself up, and we'll go and talk to everybody. This was fun. Wins are fun. It's remarkably weird how that goes. Coming up first, we're going to bring my man Micah up, who is he's usually last, just because he comes in here a little bit late, but now he's going to go first. So Micah, hit that unmute button and spew us some unbridled joy at an actual victory.
Actual victory where we looked like a competent basketball team.
That's right.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
It's hilarious. You called it so many times. When you said, I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a 4-game winning streak or a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's crazy. It's fun though. It's fun, but maybe Max Strus figured out he shouldn't shut his mouth before he talked bad about Luka.
I mean,
because obviously it's hard playing with all those superstars over there too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Just saying.
Well,
they shot me. I'm not gonna lie.
I enjoyed kind of just seeing Luka being mean to smaller defenders. Like Tyler Hero was really working his ass off, and Luka just made him look stupid. And it brings a certain joy to my heart when he's locked that. Obviously, Luka going 5 for 6 from 3 at one point was kind of what allowed the other things to operate for him because they have to guard the 3-point shot. But this team did Luka made the extra pass early, which I thought was helpful because against the Hawks, he really played the string out on the double teams a little too long. He moved the ball quickly tonight, and the Heat were not just throwing doubles; they were throwing almost like a guy, like they were throwing an extra guy and a half sometimes at him, particularly when he was on a particular side of the floor. It was fun. I enjoyed watching this one a great deal.
Right. Just all around. I mean, after getting your back blown in by over 130 points, it's nice to hold a team under 100 that has 3 guys on it that are averaging over 20 a game.
Yeah.
So it was all fun. It's good. I liked it. It was hilarious that Josh came out. First thing he tweeted was, "So do I get to message Woods agent about defensive numbers with him not on the floor?"
Right. I know. It's that was really funny. And I had a great time with this. So, well, you got anything else for us?
But yeah, it's fun. No, let's just hear some other people talk. Let's all enjoy this.
That's right.
It's fun.
That is right. All right, man. Thanks so much for joining. Okay, we're gonna go next to Ewan. What's happening, my friend?
Hey, Mavs Party, what's up?
I am just. This has just been an incredibly weird day for me. Judging by your profile photo, you have a small child. My 6-year-old was home with me all day, and he was feeling better after feeling sick. And it's like, can I send him to school now? And so getting a Mavs win after being Dad, why don't you build Legos with me? Because Dad's got to work. That's why. It was very nice to get him to turn on the TV and get a Mavs win.
Yeah, while watching the game, my son was like running in front of the TV. He's like, Dad, I'm gonna show you who Luka is. I'm like, yeah, show me. Because we listen to the podcast and stuff, so he knows like the Locked On Mavs kind of intro song and stuff like that. So he just be pointing Luka out for me on the TV. So that was fun.
Yep.
But like I said, it's always good to beat the Heat. So and the way that we beat them was pretty nice. And like I said, like they posted that like this team is the lowest scoring team Luka has average-wise in his career. That's like a talking point before the game when they asked Spoelstra about it. And after the game, he's like, you guys kind of jinxed us, and of course Luka went for 34, 12, and 7. Could have had more assists if Dodo didn't break that beautiful play he did between the legs behind the back pass. And Dodo bricked it to the right of the rim.
I'm glad you brought that up. Dodo above the break is criminal. It makes laces out. It's like such a wide right. It's like, what is happening? When you're that it's hard to explain, guys. Dodo was on the left side of the rim, so he was like at the free throw line extended up to the top of the key. He missed to the right, and the ball ricocheted like a pinball. Like, that's such a horrendous shot when you're wide open. It's impressive.
Yeah, that was a bad shot. It's so much to take away from this game. Like, it really is. Like, Josh Green, you can see his impact on the game and what he can do. And you saw that little pick and roll thing him and Luka had going.
Yes.
Passed it back to Luka, and Luka just, had a little mid-range. I'm like, that was nice. You got to run that a little bit more, more often. And if you look at the box score, you see that Spence shot a little bit. It wasn't the best shooting percentage, but it felt like during the game, he just made shots at the right time. Like, they making a run, he makes a 3. They're making a run. He just
sure. You
watch the game, you be like, I don't really know what's going on with Spence, but the shots he makes is like timely buckets, like when you need a momentum stopper, So that was pretty good. And lastly, with Luka, it's like, we always talk about you can't speed him up. He works at his own pace. And there's a specific play where they had was a guy named Gabe Vincent.
Yes.
Was guarding him on the 3-point line, and he was pressuring Luka so bad, but Luka just had the ball above his head with the time running down. And, certain players in that moment would probably start to panic, like, I have to move, I have to make a decision, I have to rush. And Luka just stood there, being the guy that he is, the physique he is, and Gabe Vincent trying to pressure him, it ended up being a foul on Gabe Vincent. And I'm watching the game like you really is nothing you can really do to Luka, honestly.
Yep.
If he's missing, he's missing, and you can't really speed him up. It's like he's so poised, his composure is on another level. It's like you can't like aggravate him really. It's just it's great to watch. It's really great to watch.
Yeah, when they're on, it's just so fun. Like, it just doesn't get old watching Luka do this stuff. At least it hasn't for me, and I doubt it has for anybody in here. Where it's like, okay, well, they're going to try something different tonight, or they're going to try a different set of defender. Like Bam Adebayo guarded Luka pretty good in the first half, but it just didn't matter. And like that's the favorite that like we're already at like MVP Dirk level where the kind of stuff it's like, oh, nothing is going to bother Luka. Nothing bothers. Like the only thing that bothers Luka is himself. Like when he misses shots or when the refs aren't giving him stuff. And I had a great time watching that game. And it was early. Just can't put enough emphasis. And then we got another early game on Sunday. This is just living my best life type stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people here watch a lot of podcasts, but they had that podcast with Spence. I can't forget the name of it, but I watched it today when he went on there and he was talking. They had like snippets of it on Twitter. So I watched the whole thing and he was pretty much saying like, Luka will just come down and be like, hey, Spence, this is what I'm about to do to this guy right now. I'm about to give him I'm a post up, fade away one leg off the glass. And he wouldn't necessarily say it to the defender, but he would say it to Spence, but the defender's right there. So it's kind of like an insult, but not directly. You know what I'm saying? So as you watch the game, when he's switched on Bam and he's going one-on-one with Bam and he just gets to his spot, he just raises up and to shoot a three right in his face. And it's kind of like, it was pretty good defense. It's like Bam high-fived him, but it didn't matter. It was just...
He's so disrespectful. And I think that when they're out of the game, other NBA players absolutely love it because everybody is. Everybody showboats. And the way he does it is just so. Dirk never did shit like this. He just killed you. He never did the like the outright showboating unless he was really feeling himself. Like Luka's just doing stuff. The Heat. I was following some Heat bloggers who seemed very shocked that Luka was targeting Bam, and it's like he does this all the time. He wants the challenge. He's bored. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm happy we got the win. A lot of people have a lot of stuff to say. There's so much more to talk about. Tim Hardaway,
how did we win a Tim Hardaway 1-for-10 game? That's wild.
All right, man. I'll be here on Sunday.
All right. Thanks, man. Talk soon. All right. Let's go with Krishna. And Krishna, I'm gonna have to boot you after a period of minutes because I love doing playbacks. I'm like, wow, Krishna's been up on stage for 15 minutes. What's going on? How's it going?
Good, Kirk. How are you?
I'm good. What'd you think? Did you watch this one?
Yeah, I watched pretty much the second half and then a bit of the second. I thought it was okay. I mean, part of it is just that, I kind of talked about it in the Hawks game. I didn't think Josh and Dorian were going to make the biggest difference, but I don't think I'm completely wrong on that still, but I do think the effort on defense is better. And I think on some part, the Heat offense is just not the best. They've tried to rectify their like problems, but they don't have a creator. And that's a problem. But I also think Jimmy Butler is still a really good player. He can still score a lot.
They won 3 straight and they beat the pants off the Pelicans.
Yeah. And I think, I still think it's a good win, right? Like we can make all these qualifiers, but I thought there were some really good moments. I think one stood out to me was in the third. Josh gets beat on the edge, and I remember Jimmy. He's just about to shoot like a turnaround on the lot close to the. Gosh, I can't even remember. Close to the rim, and Josh is right there, and then Luka is right there for the double. And I thought they did a really good job of that all day long. I think it was surprising how good Dwight is on Bam Adebayo. Like Bam is a good player, but it's always shocking. Yeah, it's always shocking to me how much Bam is kind of offensively. I feel like
it's like he limits himself. He's super duper skilled. He's like, to me, and I think a lot of people share this. I'm not super original with this, but like he might be the ideal Luka pick and roll partner, and he just doesn't shoot enough. He doesn't attack enough. He's just a little too timid. Like he should have eaten tonight. That's an indictment on him that he didn't do better against Powell.
I agree. I also find it like maybe he adds like a 3-point shot that would make him a even bigger threat. And I don't know. I don't know if that ever happened, but part of you've seen that, like you saw in the playoffs last year, where just like he had games where he was just not there offensively. And for as great of a defender he is, that obviously sucks. But getting on the positives, I really liked the whole play of the team. I mean, Reggie hitting threes was awesome, and it's not to say that fans don't have any right to get frustrated at Reggie. They do, absolutely. But it's great to see the guy making his shots. And
he's shooting more. That's what's helping him.
Yes.
When he would have these 1-for-3 games in 38 minutes, it's like, Jesus Christ. Because you go look at his December shooting, he shot 37.5%. I wouldn't have imagined that had somebody not told me to go look. I was like, there's no way. And he did pretty well in December. He just didn't shoot enough. And now we're through 20, I don't know, we're through 20 days of the month. He shot 60 times or 59 times from three already.
Yeah, and he's close to 50%, if not.
That's why he's 28 for 59. So I think that's just slightly over.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the great miracles of the world. I mean, people know more about Haley's Comet than how Reggie Bullock doesn't start shooting threes till January. But it's great to see. And then, I think you tweeted about it, and a lot of people are excited. I mean, that Josh play where he just goes right at Victor and then gets the end one. It's kind of it's so different. Like I don't think I ever questioned the athleticism. I think it was always for me about the confidence, and it's why I'm excited about him, and I'm glad he's doing well. And it's good to get this win after so many losses and to kind of swing things around overall, and just the mood for the team and the fans.
Yes. Well, what else you got for us?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I was just going to say, on the trade stuff, it's interesting. I'm not too big into it. I love how much the proposed Pascal Siakam trade has gotten so many fans.
That's not enough for this guy. That's not enough.
Do people realize?
No, nobody watches anybody but their own team, and if they say they do, they're either in their 20s and single, or they're lying. There are no other options.
The only reason I know how good this guy is I try to follow like No Dunks. They try to do a really good job of
If you follow some national podcasts and you're like, listen when they talk about teams, yes, but it's hard to watch teams each night.
No, and I'm not even going to claim I know it perfectly, but
you can also go to Basketball Reference and look at the guy's numbers. They're fucking phenomenal.
The guy's 28. He's in his prime. He's averaging close to a triple double. Like this is an all NBA player. Like, of course it's going to take a lot. And also one of those guys. I like Josh a lot, right? Like I'm on Josh Green Island.
Yeah.
I have a Josh Green mansion. But look, if it's Pascal Siakam, like I get it.
That's why you want good young players to make them appealing for actual stars.
Yeah, and it makes sense. For me personally, I obviously I would do it, but I also just don't think that's completely viable. I think the trade deadline is always going to be a higher. It's always going to be a more bloated like value than in the summer. Now, obviously, in the summer you have to see what assets you actually have, but I just don't think it'll happen because I think the Raptors. I don't think the Raptors do it. They're just not that kind of team. Like they had an opportunity to blow it up before they got Kawhi and they didn't do it. So I just don't think that's going to happen. But I do think there are more realistic trades out there. Like, I mean, the Hornets, like go to the Hornets and maybe you get Jalen McDaniels. Like you could do that, give it a second and like Tim or something, or go get PJ Washington, like guys who are younger and, have opportunity.
Everything's a mess. Trade value stuff is always difficult, but then you take a look at what's gone on the past several years with, really just the past year with trade, like first round pick valuations, and the market's going to be busted for a while. That's why it's not that I don't want them to do anything. It's just, I don't want them to pay too much for something that doesn't matter. So
I agree. It's kind of why I've been okay if they trade a second, but I would be worried about trading the first. I think they have two.
And those are all, yeah.
And those are way in the future. I think they're like 28, 29, something like that. But it's kind of why, like, I just don't really see anything happening. And if it does, it's kind of like a swapping chair situation rather than a really moving the needle. And I think that's fine, right? Like this team needs to get its picks together and needs to go for a bigger star later on. And again, like you said, like OKC and the Pelicans are going to have so many picks very, very soon. And I'm interested to see what that does, because at some point they can't keep all those picks or they can't keep all those players. So I'm interested to see what domino falls first, whether it's those teams trading their players or they trade their picks at a lower value, because at some point teams are going to say, hey, you have to trade these picks or these players. Like, you cannot keep them.
I made a series of like really bad jokes. There's a player, and we're just off the rails. Who cares? There's a player coming up in USA basketball. He's from the state of Maine. His name is Cooper Flagg. He is a sophomore, and he is white as snow. And somebody made the joke on my timeline today where it's just like him and Cooper and Chet in Oklahoma City, just because it's like he's phenomenal. But I mean, he's a sophomore, so what are you gonna do? In high school, he's like 16. But it's like, oh, Oklahoma City's going to draft him years from now, because of course they are, because they have all those dang picks, you know.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know we faced Houston so many times, and there's been a lot of talk about how Houston's kind of tanking has gone poorly, but OKC, I think, is, we can look at it and say it's a tank, but Sam Presti's also a very smart guy, and he's got a good coach in place, not Mazzulla, I always forget his name, Mignon or something like that, and he's a good coach, and they have good players. I mean, Shea, I think, is going to be an all-star, and a worthy all-star at that, and Giddey is still a great player, and I think they have that structure in there where it's not like they're accustomed to losing, right? And they're accustomed to playing a system of basketball, which I think is helpful, but that's kind of besides the point. I think overall, it's just interesting to see, right? It's a bloated transfer, I'm into soccer. It's a bloated trade block where a lot more buyers because of the play-in, and who knows what the sellers are going to do if they want to. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm just glad the team got a win, and hopefully everyone gets a good night's rest.
Thanks, bud. Talk soon. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. Sort of forget what I was going to say because the Christian was on. No, I'm just joking. He's a great speaker. I love hearing it, his takes and all. So yeah, great win. Obviously, always like to beat the Heat. I don't really think we've beaten the Heat that much in the last 12 years since we won the finals.
Rare, because the Heat are always pretty good.
Yeah. I think there was one year, maybe a couple years ago, where we actually beat them twice.
Luka hurt his ankle in 2020 in the opening play against the Heat. It was like 2019. It was that December, and that was when him and Porzingis were absolutely cooking. And then things were just never the same between Porzingis and Luka after that. He sprained his ankle on the first play of the game. It was a real bad high ankle sprain. He missed a month. It's rough.
Oh, well, that's the current injury. I kind of just got over a high ankle sprain. It takes about a month. So. But I was out on the court this week. But yeah, with Luka the way he's getting double teamed is just really getting annoying. He didn't really seem like they were doing too much of that in the second half, but because I guess our guys were hit. But this is just a concern of mine, man. I know we won tonight, but it's just only a matter of time before I feel like he's going to get injured. I mean, he's just getting doubled the whole game, and they're just going to live with the result. But as long as our guys are hitting threes, I guess maybe teams will start backing off on doing that. Or I don't know. What do you think? Maybe coaches are saying, screw it. We'll just live with the other guys. If they make their shots, fine. I mean, if not, then I don't know.
With this small a team, I think they're just going to have to live with what they're doing. And if they scramble harder defense, then I expect them to play basically 500 basketball until Wood comes back. Fortunately for them, that may be just fine because the West below, the Mavericks are fifth still, despite all this shit show. They a 3-game losing streak. They're still fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a couple games above, I think, the 6th spot or something. They just a ton of those teams 6 through 10 or 6 through 11, they're currently winning. All of them have won recently. We just got to just win at least every other game. I mean, we want to win every game, of course, but
the Clippers are in a bad place. They're in a that's why that loss to them was so maddening. But Kawhi he seems to like to kill us. And you look at the next few.
Yeah, I'm please have a load management game against us. Jesus Christ! Every time we play them, I swear he comes out and he's just.
That's right.
Game 6 of 2021. I was there in the building. That was so fucking annoying. It's he cheated the whole season. It seemed like. I guess he was going through an injury, but he comes back.
So good. And it was,
and he went nuclear. Like,
I always tell people that might be one of the top 5 performances I've ever seen anyone do. Not just because he shot like 60% from the floor, but he guarded Luka really well, and it's like to do both is pretty impressive.
It's so frustrating. Just looking back at it, I'm not saying we would have won the title in 2021, but up 17 in the second quarter, and then you take Luka out, whatever rotation was going on with Rick Carlisle. Oh, just keep him in. He's cooking. He was cooking too. So Luka was. But with Wood, is there any timeline on how long he's going to be out? They said 3 or 4 games probably. Or
who's this?
Christian Wood.
Sorry, I was reading about friggin' Shannon Sharp has been escorted out of the game that's on ESPN right now. He was at, I guess it's Lakers Grizzlies, and Shannon Sharp was escorted out of the game because he got like Ja Morant and Steven Adams, like he said something to a number of Grizzly players who like lost their minds. So sorry, I was like reading about this for a second.
Oh, I was about to say, did you get an argument with Skip Bayless? Did they go to the game?
And to answer your question about Wood, I don't know, because a broken thumb, it impacted his play the rest of that game. So he was able to play, but the question kind of becomes is like, it's a pain tolerance thing. He seems to be a pretty tough guy. So hopefully a couple of weeks, but then how does it affect everything?
And here's another question. Like if he, because he's going to be out a few games or whatever, if he doesn't sign that extension, like, do you really feel like the Mavs, I just don't want them to do the same thing with the whole Brunson and just lose him, like, do you think that they would move on from him and just, if they got a good trade package?
Oh, I mean, I still think they would move. I'm at the mood today. I will change my mind on this every day until trade deadline. I think if the right offer presents himself, they move it, because I don't think they want to have to make that choice.
Yeah. So we'll see. But lastly, Bertans needs to shoot a freaking 3. Anytime I don't know what he's doing. He's just like trying to do all these different things, but he needs to be the decoy out there on the limited minutes that he has, because it's just annoying. He's just not taking that many shots, or maybe he's not getting that many. I don't know. What do you think about Bertans at all? Just
he tries so hard, but he can't defend, and at a certain point, it's too hard. Like the spot minutes that he gave Dallas tonight, or I was amused by. I mean, he made an up and under bank shot, which killed me. I don't know if he's just, I think we've said this for years. If he hits you give him a shot immediately. If he hits like one of his first 2 shots, keep playing him. Otherwise, pull him out, because he's all or nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My last point, because I was trying to buy time to think, because I was about the whole Jaden Hardy thing, that when Luka's getting hard trapped like that, of course you want to find an open player for a 3, but I don't know. I think Hardy could just pass it out to him, and then he could just drive to the bucket.
I want more guys. Like, that's where Dorian's gotten a little better at the willingness to do this. It's just super awkward, where he will drive off those things. You want to have guys who are capable finishers for sure. It's not just the shooting.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, if the other team rotates late and fouls him, I think he's a decent free throw shooter. Yeah. So just let him cook like that. But he could be a liability on defense. I know he's young, but he's got to develop, because I'm just really excited about Josh Green. I'm glad he's back, and hopefully they can just get a winning streak going to get some momentum. But the reason why they won tonight is just because they flat out played hard.
Yep.
That's what it is. So
I agree, and I think Jason Kidd would agree. Thanks so much, Chris.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go with David. David, how are you?
Hey, Kurt. Doing good. Just got back home from the game and joined the party here.
Oh, dang, I'm jealous. Fun. Looked like a fun game to be at.
This was a palate cleanser for sure. This was a great game. Just like the crowd was great. Everyone was having a good time. Everyone around me, we were all agreeing that we were living in Josh Green Island, and the hustle plays from him tonight were just fantastic. Like I missed seeing that energy while he was hurt.
Yep. So the Josh Green energy is extremely important to what they do. It's hard to quantify to people that don't watch the game regularly, but I don't know. Frank Ntilikina tries to do the same sort of thing, but Josh is just so chaotic, and his strength is valuable. And I don't know. I like watching him play. I would like for him he does this odd thing. Tell me if you've noticed this. when he gets the ball in the corner, he pump fakes to nothing. He pass fakes to the baseline. And I'm just like, Jesus, what? And for some reason, players bite on it. And I'm just like, I really just want him to like rise and fire or drive immediately.
Right. Yeah. He seems to like, I think he's like faking himself out. I feel like he's still moving too fast sometimes. And I'm just waiting for like eventually Luka's like through osmosis to just slow down just enough to where he can really take advantage of that speed and not just be at 60 miles an hour nonstop.
Yep. Oh, geez. Shannon Sharp has retaken his courtside seats for the second half. Sorry, I'm riveted by this because Steven Adams is
I'm
like
gonna have
the
to follow
nicest
this story afterwards.
Steven Adams is the like one of like four dudes in the NBA I would absolutely he just crosses like the do not fuck with this man. And I cannot. This is amazing. I'm riveted by the
100%.
NBA. Anyhow, what else you got for us?
So God, there was a number of things I wanted to just like do shout outs on after this glorious win. But the seeing Luka had an expression of joy. So there's like multiple thoughts on this. Luka had a great expression of joy in like his very last play, which was the alley-oop to Green for like, it wasn't a dunk, but it was like a rim layup in open court on that fast break right before Kidd finally pulled him. But that also led me to like me screaming for like going hoarse for 3 minutes, wondering why the Luka was still out there in the fourth quarter.
Yep. He wanted to get to his points average. So Joel Embiid is right behind him for the scoring title. And I think Luka wants that at this point. I'm curious as to how it actually works though, because Embiid has played 33 games, I think. And Luka's played 42, maybe. I could be wrong, but it's like I wonder if like number of games played comes into it.
Interesting. I thought he was maybe gunning, like hoping that he could finish off the triple double because I think he had like 34 and 12
tonight.
Yeah. So and then he was just shot like I think it was like 6 or 7 assists. So I thought he was going for the triple double to try and get the national spotlight and just keep that MVP. I was thinking the MVP, but scoring title also. So that could be Yeah, I felt like he'd probably gone to Kidd and just been like, "Hey, I need my stuff. We're killing it tonight, so just leave me in." Also, like undershirt look tonight. Good look.
What, dad at the YMCA?
Yeah, solid. It made me feel good about myself. So keep it up, Luka. Keep doing that. But yeah, no. I'm just trying to think. Oh, so I wanted to share something that would only be court, like if you were in the game, like at the event, that I thought was really interesting. That actually, like it was like the quintessential moment. So like, they have their like little like timeout shows and like little like vids and stuff that they put on.
Yep.
And so one of them was they were asking some fan to like, it was essentially a memory game. And so they went through and they had different players talk about the numbers of their jerseys they've had over the years. And they had Bertans and they had JaVale McGee and Dinwiddie. Anyway, so when they get to Dinwiddie though, they actually give him the mic for a little bit. And he had like the most like deep introspective thoughts on like his jersey number. And he's like, yeah, I was number 8. But now I'm 26, and the reason for that is when Kobe died, I couldn't be number 8 anymore. And so I wanted to do this thing where it was like my son was born in April, my birthday was April, and he's like, and then 4 and 4 made 8. And so I couldn't, still, it comes up to 8, so I couldn't do that. And then he's like, but my birthday is like for April 6th, and my son's birthday is April 20th, and that got 26, and then 2 and 6 made 8. So in a weird way, it's still honoring 8, and it's like that. And then like I was like, holy shit, that's like moving, and like he it was like deep all of a sudden, like there's like this like thing. And then they go cut to JaVale McGee, and he's like, yeah, it was the same number I had last year, so you know.
Love it. Just yeah.
I was like, that encapsulates exactly how I view both these human beings as people. Yeah. So that moment from inside the arena, like I was like dying laughing. So that's something I can share with the group here today, and just love the win. God, we needed this. We did. We did.
I just, thanks for joining us, David. Appreciate it. I love it makes me so happy that everybody's come around to me on JaVale McGee. It's just nice. Oh, well. All right. I think we had one. Oh, no more speaker requests. Okay. So I addressed this in the podcast, and it's worth talking about right now. So for anybody that follows me on social media or, gets on the internet at all, you might have seen that there were some really, really large changes today at SB Nation. Vox Media, the company that owns us, and owns Mavs Moneyball, owns all of SB Nation, basically fired 7% of the staff today. Staff meaning salaried employees. What that didn't talk about was the fact that they shuttered a bunch of websites and including a lot of contractors. That does not include Mavs Moneyball, which is nice. So we will still be writing. Our site is still open. They closed 10 other NBA sites, including like Denver Stiffs and At the Hive and Orlando Pinstripes, some sites that have been around for a really long time. It's pretty frustrating for me because I know a lot of people that do this. It's a passion project. You don't do this out of love. None of us make any money. Like I make enough money to buy more energy drinks than I should every month. But it's not like salary. It's love, And additionally, what they also did was decide that as of the end of February, they're going to be shutting down or at least no longer supporting, and I don't really know what this means at this point, the SB Nation podcast network. So that means like every podcast. The feed that Josh and I run at Mavs Moneyball's podcast feed is a top 10 performing site for most of the year for podcasts because of what we do here. I do a lot of volume. We have a lot of people that come, but this year was also just a really big year for growth, and I'm a little surprised. Actually, I'm very surprised. Now, what comes next, I'm not so sure on. Josh and I still have a lot to figure out. I will say I think that we're going to I don't want anybody to be necessarily worried about like us. We're going to find a place to do the show. It's whether you guys are able to find us. Like obviously the Spotify lives are easy to join, but whether or not we can have the feed that we currently have that downloads to your phone or however you listen to podcasts, that's up in the air. And I don't. And if that's the case, if we're not allowed to get that, which, companies are interesting about this stuff, they might not let us have it just because it means like starting over from scratch. And we have some decisions to make about whether we would want to do, join another network, which is a possibility. I'm talking with some folks already. If we would want to do a independent site, if we wanted to do something like an independent podcast, like the GOAT podcast, does that mean we would do subscription-based? Does that mean we would do ad-based? Because I think there's a market for local ads. I think most ad executives that do stuff at the national level are lethargic and lazy. Like I'm sure the ads you guys get for the show are weird. What if you're a Dallas-based resident and you actually get ads that are appropriate for where you live? Wild concept. But hey, who knows? Not me. So we'll see. We're going to keep this going. And John says Moneyball is such a great name, though. I mean, as far as I would consider it, I would keep the name. Like, I don't care. Like, are they going to sue me for the name? I don't know. I mean, they're the ones that have ended to do this. So I'll figure something out. I appreciate you guys letting me know that you'd be willing to do Patreon stuff. But I hate paying for stuff myself. So I don't, even though I do support a number of podcasts. So, all right. Just know that if changes are coming, I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out with me most nights, and we will talk with you guys on Sunday. Bye, guys.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.